Vet would witness with his own eyes and nausea just how cruel and evil his adversary could really be. Chapter 15. Coveting the shining eye like a wanted magpie. Temptation was sat on a bench further down the road and was talking to a woman. The woman had flaming red hair, all gathered up and presented beneath a large floppy hat. The hat was a means of protecting her against the sun, which had once burnt her so severely when she was a young girl. She sometimes still had nightmares about her peeling face, even though it was a long time ago since she had actually got it burnt. Maybe the same age as Woody was now. Temptation spoke to the woman in a seductive, captivating voice, throwing in a bit of flattery for good measure. "Well, hello there, young lady. Love the hat, and the hair's gorgeous too." "Never mind the hat and the hair," she said, brushing aside the compliments. "I've lost my young self, and I'm so worried." She looked up and down the road, and then past Temptation into the field. "Caroline?" inquired Temptation. "Ginger hair and a smattering of freckles?" "Yes, yes," she cried, and nodded her head with such enthusiasm that her hat worked its way forward until she had to push it back up in order to see her saviour. Temptation assured her that he knew where she was and that she was playing with his nieces and nephews, and so they both set off down the road together in order to meet up with young Caroline. "Wow," sighed Evan, "that was a close call." "It certainly was," agreed Fate, feeling sorry for the woman, as he was well aware that her troubles had only just begun. They walked back up the road, away from Temptation, with Woody feeling as though they had been extremely mean and rude to his entertaining and generous new friend. He felt in need of an explanation for their ungrateful behaviour, and so he asked them both, Why did we turn our backs on that man and make him go away? And be rude to him? I quite liked him, what with his dancing and his singing. It seemed to me as though all he wanted to do was make me happy by giving me a pair of new trainers. Soundbreakers they were as well." Evan told the youngster who the character was, and then tried his best to explain to Woody that Temptation was not to be trusted, that it would try to deceive him throughout his life, lead him astray, and take advantage of him on many occasions to come. "Ah, but I've taken advantage of him, haven't I?" Woody said triumphantly, referring to the soundbreakers that were in the box. Then he reached out to try and take them back from Evan, but was unable to secure them as easily as he had from Temptation. "Why don't we sit here for a moment so you can put them on?" suggested Fate, much to Evan's surprise. So they sat down on the grass verge to let the youngster try on his new breakers. Woody was so excited that his fumbling fingers could hardly manage to grasp the lid and pull it off. "Woohoo!" he cried, as he finally managed to get 2 fingers under the lid and pull it off, letting it fall to the ground. "Woohoo!" he was about to say again, but as he looked into the box, his wooing ceased and was replaced by one solitary word: empty. Tears welled up in his eyes as the realization that he was stuck with his old plimsolls became the reality, rather than the one which the new soundbreakers had promised to become. Still holding the box, he turned it upside down and gave it a gentle shake, as if hoping that the breakers would fall out from some secret compartment in the box, which would hardly be a surprise in this out-of-the-ordinary place where he was now residing. They never, and he began to cry, pressing himself into the man's chest as he did. Evan could feel his young self trembling, and as he placed his arm around the boy, he felt emotions which for a long time had been strangers to him. Empathy, sympathy, and the desire to protect a loved one. Woody's crying began to subside, and when he had stopped, he sat back and said he was sorry for being a baby. Evan assured him that there was no need to apologise, at least not to him. Then he looked at Fate for some mutual reassurance. But much to Evan's amazement, Fate prodded the boy in the chest and said to him, "Let that be another lesson to you." "What lesson this time?" he mumbled, his chin still quivering. "There is no such thing as something for nothing." Fate looked at Evan to let him know that the remark was also directed at him. "Oh," said the youngster, not wanting to say too much in case he started crying again. As they set off, walking back to the crossroads, Woody told them to "wait a minute." He bent down and picked up the empty box and lid, folded them up as tight as he could, and then placed them inside his canvas bag, with the intention of disposing of them later. It made Fate smile, and Evan think back to another of his grandfather's teachings about never being a litterbug. When they had reached the crossroads, Fate looked at the sign, still partly covered by the bush, and thought that it seemed like an unfair advantage which temptation held. He reached inside one of his many pockets which his trousers possessed, and produced a large penknife containing an assortment of tools. He could see with his eyes coveting the shiny knife like a wanting magpie. Fate pulled out 2 or 3 tools, making out that he could not find the one he wanted. As Evan was ashore, he wondered why Fate appeared to be trying to make the boy envious, and why he would do such a thing. Fate found and revealed a long blade, and then pushed the other tools back inside the handle. "I wish that was mine," thought Woody, as once again he dreamed of the admiration which he would receive from Scooby and his brother Jimmy if he owned such a marvellous shiny knife. Fate moved towards the bush and trimmed it from around the side. "That's better," he said, standing back to admire his agricultural handiwork. As he moved away from the now fully exposed sign, Evan and Woody could now see it in its entirety. They both read the sign and then breathed a sigh of relief, feeling grateful to be unscathed. They looked at one another, thinking what a narrow escape they must have just had. Then once more they looked at the sign, which now read, "Road to Ruin." Fate knew that it was against the rules to interfere with another mortal's journey, yet he could not help but wish that he had at least warned the red-haired woman not to go with temptation. He knew there would be a terrible price to pay for her bad judgment. Fate, though, could not have imagined the horrendous nature of the reprisal which temptation would inflict upon her. Fate would witness with his own eyes and nausea just how cruel and evil his adversary really could be.